Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast. I'm Philip Gilfus, and I'm here along with my fellow Super Trek fan nerds, enthusiast, Daniel Prue and Darren Moser.
I'll take that as a compliment, Philip.
That was very nice. Yeah.
Yes. So how are you guys doing, and what's going on in your Trek/nerd lives?
Just preparing for Discovery. I've made sure that my Netflix subscription is all up to date, and it's...
And you're moving, apparently, I guess?
Yep, I'm moving to Canada because
Canada.
It's more cost-effective to move to Canada and then keep my pre-existing Netflix subscription than subscribe. No, I won't be doing that, but...
Sadly, you'd have to get a new one. You'd have to get a Netflix Canada subscription.
Oh,
but
that's true.
I thought CA stood for California, which I already have.
Oh.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to One World Netflix one day. What about you, Daniel? Anything tricky or nerdy going on in your...
No.
Other than doing a podcast?
Really. Yeah, or two. Yeah, nothing this week.
I'm waiting for you to play Star Trek Bridge Simulator on Z to Z. When is that episode going to be happening?
I want to play Bridge Simulator so bad. I don't think you understand. So, okay, I guess we could talk about this. Next week is E3,
That's
the big
right.
yearly video game convention. And they're announcing the new version of the Xbox, which supposedly, allegedly, rumoredly will have VR support.
Okay.
So if it does, it's possible that in the fall I'll be able to play Star Trek Bridge Simulator, which I would be very excited to do.
Now, do you know with the Bridge Simulator, can you play like over a net, like over the internet? So I could have my setup and you could have your setup, and we're communicating via the internet. That's
yes,
perfect.
it depends on how they do it. Well, as of right now, all three versions that exist are cross-platform. Okay. So presumably, and there's no reason that Microsoft would stop that. So presumably,
I just didn't know if it was local,
and it does come out.
But it's sounding
Nope. It's all online. Okay. So I would love,
because I have a PS4, and so I would just need to get the VR expansion, which costs as much as a PS4. But
yep,
but it'd be
cool.
It.
Yes, it would. It'd be a lot of fun.
It's not. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure it would be.
Yeah.
Cool. Speaking of things that are worth it, how about paying nothing for something? Because that's what we're doing here at City Alpha 3 and the Nerd Party with our partnership with Think Inc. and the Klingon Monopoly giveaway that we're doing.
It is the honorable version of Monopoly, some would say. There is a dagger involved. It's very small, but it is there, and it's, I think, honor and... what is it? What replace community?
And combat.
Yeah, combat. Honor and combat. I mean, that's pretty much Monopoly already. So they didn't have to change too much.
Sure. And so folks who are interested, and who wouldn't be? I mean, everyone's interested. Get your whole family to do it for you. But they can visit thenerdparty.com/blog to find out details about how to enter. And there's over 5 ways to enter, and different ways can kind of give you more entries. And so please check that out, and tweet and Facebook and all that stuff about it. So that way, not only are you getting a good chance to get a Klingon Monopoly, but you're also helping spread the word about Nerd Party and Think Geek, which we all know and love and would like to have more things from.
And do that today, because I believe it was only a week we were having this contest open. So as of this Friday is your last day to subscribe / enter in all those many ways for Klingon Monopoly, or Kalopoly, as I like to call it.
Is that spelled with a Q, maybe, and an apostrophe?
No, with a K, obviously.
Uh-oh, this is how we get into debates. Well, what else we're going to debate about today is, we've talked, not necessarily on City Alpha 3, but in the fandom, we've often talked about the economics of the future being somewhat different, and we all know Star Trek is a utopian vision, but there's some things we don't really see that kind of should be there. And so what we're talking about today is very controversial. It's the politics of Trek. And now, no, I'm not talking about whether Star Trek is this or that or whatever. I'm talking about literally the politics in Star Trek. We're going to talk about, how each of the series, how does Earth government work? Do Klingons vote for Emperor? I mean, I didn't vote for the Emperor.
But you also didn't not kill him. So by default.
See, I was hoping someone would pick that up. Is like,
you don't vote for Emperor. I was just trying to remember the next line.
The Lady of the Lake with her batleth in her hand.
Who?
The Klingons. We're all Klingons, and I am your Emperor.
Are you a clone? No, that's the Chancellor. Very different.
See, this is what we're going to be talking about, the confusing political theories of everything. So, as always, especially when Philip is hosting, we go in universe order. And I'll admit, maybe there's not a lot to discuss here, so maybe it'll be a very short show for all I know. But so Enterprise, one of the things I kind of like about what we could have seen was, because with Enterprise, we're kind of but we're coming out of World War III. It's been a couple decades. And so you're just starting to see the elements of, the good Earth or, Paradise City or whatever you call it. But I would argue as far as like Earth government, I don't think we ever saw anything until the penultimate episodes of like Demons, when you sort of had like, oh, here's the Earth officials, and we're talking about the coalition of planets and ambassadors and all that. But I guess before I get into Demons, because that's literally the next to the last episode, or next to the last episode, can you all think of any Earth government, Earth leadership? I mean, other than Starfleet?
Yeah, I mean, they talk a lot about Starfleet, but I always was under the impression that it was kind of a unified Earth government. I mean, that was kind of the new thing that they were all kind of still getting used to, but I can't think of any specific examples, though, because, again, we pretty much just get the Starfleet lens.
I mean, that's pretty accurate across all of Star Trek. I feel like we get essentially Starfleet and their importance, and then maybe occasionally we'll get like the president, but even then it's only seen through Starfleet. It's not, we never. I mean, I'm sure. Well, obviously we're going to talk about it, but we don't get that many instances.
The president of Earth.
Or ambassadors. We get ambassadors,
right. But we don't actually get a sense of the structure of like the civilian political system of Earth.
That's true. Is it democratic? Is it,
I told you, an Anarcho-Syndicalist Commune. We take in turns. Sorry.
3/4 votes for internal affairs and 5/5 votes for external affairs.
It's actually kind of a missed opportunity for Enterprise, because obviously, having just kind of gotten out of World War III, it could have provided a lot of drama with, with the different countries or the different factions or however they wanted to structure it or whatever. But we never really heard anything like that.
Because, I mean, if we're going to take First Contact at its word, most of the governments were destroyed in World War III. Few governments, no resistance. And so whatever came after that could be something totally different. I mean, you probably still had your nation's identity, like, the United States and Great Britain, but that doesn't mean the governments were the same. It could have been like the North American government, or something totally different of just you're starting from the ashes there.
And that's true if you're starting over, but at a time when technology is very high. Because, I mean, that's the thing. We could say, oh, yeah, it's the North American government, but yet in 100 years ago, you couldn't have a government that controlled that much territory with the technology available. But in the future, with the way communication and eventually like transportation technology, like transporters, like, well, although we're not really quite there in Enterprise yet, but still, I could see it being easier to have at least a series of continents that kind of rule each other but also talk together to kind of prevent World War IV, as it were.
I guess in a way you could say too that, like, and I can't remember the guy's name from Broken Bow, Well, whoever was in charge. No,
Archer?
not Archer. The guy, the Vulcan that was essentially the ambassador to Earth. Yeah,
Pointy ears?
that's him. He would have essentially been, not. I mean, really. So he probably worked closely with Starfleet, but I assume that he would have a larger role within the civilian government. You know, as an ambassador. He's not like an ambassador to Starfleet. He's an ambassador to Earth.
Yeah, and I think that's because that's only what we see is that Ambassador he's a major character. I can't think of his name. Sovak?
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. The major ambassador we see in Enterprise.
Saval?
Really
Is it Saval? Yeah.
Saval, thank you. Yes.
And I knew it began with an S, so.
Yes.
I mean, a lot.
Spaval.
Yeah.
Yes. Saval. I mean, because, as you say, he only liaisons with, Admiral
Forrest
Gardner. Well, I was thinking Gardner who took over after Forrest, but
true.
I'll go with Admiral Forrest. See, I can name the admirals. That's the sad part, but I can't name.
Can you name your own representative, Philip, in the 23rd century?
That's right.
Geez.
Oh, I know.
Doesn't he have a baseball card? No, wait, that's a different game.
But yeah, I mean, that doesn't make sense at all. I mean, like it would be like I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that's very neutral. It'd be like the Mexican ambassador, to the United States talking to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs all the time. It's like, no, he'd be talking to the State Department or something,
Yeah, he wouldn't, maybe once or maybe for important things or whatever, but it certainly wouldn't be the only function that he would serve.
Well, aren't we near Q's timeline where he said they killed all the lawyers? So maybe they took out a lot of layers of government, and it's really simple.
I mean, you almost, because I think this is silly to suggest, but you could almost glean that it's like a military coup, just Starfleet running everything, which is, can't possibly
They're
be
like,
true,
we have a president, but it's like in name only. Like as its function, it's not really, although that's like the Federation president, which is mainly.
Well, there's no Federation yet.
Right, but I mean, later on, it's obviously a president because Star Trek is an American show, and we have a president, so.
Well, France has a president.
No one else has a president but America, Philip, obviously.
Although someone will always have to explain to me how you can both have a president and prime minister. I know I'm culturally ignorant.
They both begin with P. It's right next to each other in the alphabet.
Sure. So, again, the only thing I can really think of as far as Earth government, like I said, was in Demons, where you had Minister Nathan Samuels, who was also the mayor of Sunnydale. And, I mean, he was just sort of kind of big ambassador, Earth ambassador almost. I don't. Again, it's been a while since I've seen this episode, and I'm doing my Enterprise rewatch, so it'll be a little bit before I get there. But I don't really remember having like an official title, like it's sort of just like generic Earth bureaucrat ambassador. So, and then again, he's not the bad guy, but he's also revealed not to be as good as you would think he would be. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the chaotic and neutral and all that, where he would be there.
Well, because you do start to see, like you said, like the coalition of planets, and I mean, there's not just Earth and the greater galaxy, but there's also just our solar system isn't really united, which a lot of kind of modern sci-fi is really dealing into those kind of concepts.
Yeah, because like I'm watching Babylon 5, and in that universe, in the Earth Alliance, Mars is like rebelling all the time.
Because they have such a powerful defense force.
Well, I can see why, yes. But so I mean that's pretty much it for Enterprise. And as far as like other political bodies, I guess the one we see the most of would be Vulcan High Command. And that one, and again I'm rewatching, so I'm sort of like don't know I only know what I've seen in my rewatch because I sort of forget everything else. But I mean the Vulcan High Command. Because at the end of Enterprise, or near the end of Enterprise, after the sort of Romulan storyline, the Vulcan High Command gets disbanded, if I remember correctly. So like they sort of like don't overthrow their government, but they disband their government to start their new, the Surak rediscovery.
Oh, that's true.
Revolution. So I don't know, how. Like I don't think there's a Vulcan. Well, they did. Who was the main guy? I'm blanking. What was his title? I forget. But anyway, kind of like the Vulcan leader who ended up being like a Romulan.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember his name.
Talking with the Romulans. But anyway.
We also get the Wow, I'm blanking. The blue guys.
The
Andorians as well.
Well, how does
I mean, although
we
it's
get from
mostly
the
just
Andorians?
Shran talking about it and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's
It's still the military
Andorian
side of it,
defense.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for a utopian vision, we should certainly get a military. It's very martial law oriented. I mean, I guess we do see the Klingons a little bit in Broken Bow, but as far as the council,
Yeah, not
Right,
much.
that's
About
true.
Mhm.
I guess it shows up maybe once or twice more because of our mini travails with the Klingons. But well, so I guess not a lot in Enterprise, unless you can think of anything else. Even with the aliens, I mean, I know there's probably a lot of one or two offs that we're not thinking of, but nothing really strikes me. What? I'll throw out one. The Xindi.
Oh yeah,
because
true.
that's the. Is it called the Xindi Council? Or am I just
I don't
making that up?
No, it's the Xindi Council.
Okay. And so that's sort of a mix. I mean, like each of the what do you call them? Species of Xindi. Each one is sort of like you get like the reptilians seem to be militaristic, but like not all of the council members are necessarily in the military.
no, it's definitely a form of government. It seems to be, at least, albeit very minimalistic. Just the 5 people, but or 5 beings, I guess. But
Well,
we don't bring that up, Philip. Too soon.
Yeah.
But is it that don't they have? And I'm trying to remember because again, it's been a while. Don't they all have to agree? Like, isn't that their rule?
I don't remember if it has to be unanimous.
but then they kind of, I think they wanted to keep it a unanimous, but then later on they kind of fracture into a 2-party and a 3-party.
A multi-party parliamentary system
can never work.
Crazy. Because I mean that's sort of an interesting, and again from an American perspective, we tried that and threw that off pretty quickly with our Articles of Confederation. But like, the whole like to have absolute, like everyone has to agree, like that doesn't happen often. So, but I guess it worked for them at least for a while.
And it's still an interesting, cool sci-fi concept. Like, what would it be like if 6 different species evolved on the same, essentially evolved at the same rate on the same planet? Yeah, and assuming they didn't kill each other off, which these guys didn't.
Right, and I guess if I remember correctly, again, the Xindi Council was formed sort of after their Great War.
Right,
like they were fighting so much among themselves, ended up killing one of their species, and that's when they sort of freaked out.
Didn't they also destroy their planet?
Maybe that.
I don't remember that
I
part.
don't know. And we all need to rewatch Enterprise. That's what we get from that. So let's move on to something we've seen a little bit more of, and that's the original series, and I'm including animated, of course, and the movies as well, because there was a lot.
So we're going to be talking about the United Probe Agency?
That's right. UPI.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we get sort of more, obviously this is the first that we ever see, but of the Federation, but at least in real time. But nevertheless, we get the Federation flag and, a little bit of mentions. We, again, just on the ambassador level, we get a lot of ambassadors in Star Trek. And as much as that can count as government officials. So we get like the episode Babel with all the ambassadors there. But like it always seems to me that anytime there's sort of a Federation official or quote unquote bureaucrat, they're usually a bad guy, and not necessarily a bad guy, but maybe just like annoying. So I'm thinking of like Minister Beryl. Is that was his name in Trouble with Tribbles?
Something like that.
You gotta get my grain. On
my grain. Well, even though it's poisoned, like I'd rather our people eat it than the Tribbles.
But it always seems like it's sort of like, government person, they're terrible because they want us to do terrible stuff. It usually seems to be the same.
It's an outsider. It's an easy way to create some drama, some tension.
But unless you can think of something from the original or animated, really the only thing I can think of is in the movies. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless y'all think of something else, the only thing I can think of is like Star Trek 4. We actually do get the Federation Council and the Federation President. We get I guess we see the President first, because during the probe attack, he and Sarek are sort of having discussions, and he puts the president puts a planetary emergency on Earth. But I think this always brings to question this. Oftentimes we see the Federation president, who I guess the capital is on Earth, or a capital is on Earth. It's in Paris, though he was in San Francisco that particular day. Often seems to be leading Earth.
So you're thinking, yeah. Well, I don't know. You're thinking that there should be an Earth leader, president underneath him, or something.
Or something. I mean, because then we have to really get into it. Like, how does the Federation Council work? Like, does like Earth have one member on the council?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I would assume that all
those Earthers,
all planets, or all species, I guess would be a better way to put it, have one. At least that's kind of how it's portrayed. Every time we see them in a group, there's one single person that represents the entire species. So I would assume then that everybody has an equal vote. And for whatever reason, they just chose Earth as the, well, because it's written by people, but, for whatever reason, in universe, they chose the Earth to be. Yeah, I guess I never thought about, like, what's the chain of command like for the Terran government?
Well, first Jellicoe comes in, and then he takes over. And no, wait.
No, that's the episode chain of command.
You're right. Sorry.
I see what you're doing.
But I would assume that he would, the Federation president would kind of supersede his wishes.
Right. Because I just felt like if you're putting Earth on red alert, which is basically what they do in Star Trek 4, like, shouldn't it be the person in charge of Earth?
Well, maybe when we wrote the charter, it was like, okay, guys, like Earth is.
You mean Section 31?
Earth is our clubhouse, so we make the rules, and you guys can all come play, but
no girls allowed.
Maybe like Earth is like a special planet that is.
It's like a neutral planet.
that is. Maybe we give up control of governing Earth and we cede it to the entire Federation.
Well,
I mean, it could
how
be
much
like
do you really need to govern, though? I'm talking more like next gen time, but like, how much do people really need governing?
Well, I mean,
with replicator and transporter and all this other technology, like,
well, who runs the schools?
There's lots of things to do.
Collects the trash?
Well, the robots do, but you don't see them.
Who makes the shuttles run on time?
You don't need a shuttle; you have transporters.
Engage the transporters on time.
That's all, Chief O'Brien.
Well, it's interesting, Daniel living near our nation's capital. Maybe Earth is like DC. Yeah. There is some home rule, certainly, but they are under the national government.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because although I would be surprised that they wouldn't pick like a neutral planet. It feels like that would be, if I were trying to be part of the Federation, I would feel like you're giving humans too much power in that situation. And when there's a zillion planets that they could just use.
Hear yourself.
But of course, this is all literally conjecture. We have no idea. We're just guessing here.
Right. Well, and this is just what we see. And so I'll just fill out the rest of the TOS, and I'll talk about some other stuff here. But so we see the council and the president, and then we have a weird part, because the end of Star Trek 4, when Admiral Kirk is receiving
Admiral Kirk.
Yeah, it's receiving his I don't even know what you want to call it, trial, court martial, whatever. It's so irregular. I mean, he's going before the president of the Federation, who's like, thanks, but while we're all here at this great awards ceremony, let me also take the opportunity to strip you down to the rank of captain. And it's all very nice, but like when you think about it, like, why is the president? Isn't there someone in Starfleet who's over him that would be administering martial punishment?
So is the president of the Federation also? I mean, presumably he is in charge of Starfleet, right? Yeah,
the commander in chief.
Commander in chief, right? I mean, we have to assume. That makes sense.
It's just a little skipping a few levels.
I'm sure there are people in between. Certainly, there's got to be like a director of Starfleet or something. But
where was his JAG? Where was his appointed counsel for Admiral Kirk? Anyway, and then of course I'm trying to remember what's deleted scenes and what's actually in Star Trek 6. we see the Federation president's a different president in Star Trek 6, which I guess makes sense.
We have term limits.
Time has passed.
Philip.
I guess. Because it's a human in Star Trek 4, and I thought it was an Andorian, but then I looked it up, and it's not. It's something else that's not Andorian. It's
Benzite?
Afrosian. No, Afrosian is what they call it in Star Trek 6, the president there. I'm not... Anyway. I see antenna. I only think one thing. I'm sorry.
Ugh.
I guess that's species.
Philip.
I know.
I remember the
Which is
golden
what that whole
age
Star Trek
under
6 is about.
Kirkwood Smith's rule. Those are good years.
Yes. Well, there was President Archer, if you want to believe one piece of thing that appeared on Vision.
What?
Mirror Dark.
It doesn't count.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's okay.
That entire episode doesn't count.
No, the episode counts. But that's right. I remember now.
Yes, they have the Prime
right,
Universe.
I forgot. Yeah.
Computer.
I don't want Archer to be
Archer.
president. I don't like that.
I know. Well, you don't have to vote for
That's
him.
true. You're right.
But we see the different president in Star Trek 6. But I joke, but let me just bring this up again. Different properties, different franchise. But in Battlestar Galactica, I know. But in Battlestar Galactica, which is a very political show, of course. But like they vote for president and stuff. Like in Star Trek, I've never seen anyone vote for anything.
That's true.
They talk about it a lot, though.
But they never have a voting
they
day.
extol the.
They
Well,
have
I don't know.
Captain
Maybe
Picard Day.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, how do you get your ballot on the Enterprise, or
Well, I mean, obviously, the communication is not an issue, but it's just the fact that we've never seen. I mean, you could do like a slight lower decks where it's like, okay, everyone, don't forget tomorrow's voting day for the president of the Federation. I don't know.
And then it's like, and again, I know this is getting in the weeds. That's fine. That's what we do. But like, do you vote for president? Or like, do you vote for the council and the council votes for president? Like,
and if there's
all very
voting involved, you'd think there'd be campaigning. So is there like a representative, like maybe 20 representatives that want to become president from all the different, like that's a narrowed down list from the thousands of worlds. And it's like, well, how do you decide, or how do you not make it where a specific species or planet's gonna, favor their homeworld?
Maybe it's like, I was gonna say it's like a rotating thing where each, it goes by representative, and they pick their best person.
You see, one term it has to be someone from the Alpha Quadrant. The second term it has to be someone from the Beta Quadrant.
And then one time it's got to be somebody that's blue, and then somebody that's red.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. If you have this utopian views in the future, but it's like, and I get you don't want to be, I was going to say you don't want to be controversial, but that's not true. We are controversial all the time in Star Trek. But like, that's just never mentioned at all.
No, it's not.
Like, you'll have an episode, and I haven't seen it in a while, but I'll just say it's terrible. You have a terrible episode like Omega Glory, a TOS episode, where they like literally like, here's these primitive people that have an American flag and they copy the U.S. Constitution for some bizarre reason. So it's like, yay, America and, Constitution. But like, we've never seen anything about, the lofty ideals of government.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just, I wonder why. Is it just because I'm not going to say it's too hard to write, but if they're going to try to, they've already shied away enough from kind of exploring civilian culture in Star Trek. Like that line from First Contact about the economics of the future was really the first concrete example we got about that sort of thing. And that was, that was in 1996 when we were well into it.
No, we did get some, though, at the end of season 1 when they thaw out those 3 people from the past, and the one is like
the neutral zone.
Yeah, the neutral zone, and he's like, "Well, where's my accountant? Where's my accounts?" Like, and they're just like, "Yeah, money doesn't exist anymore."
Well, they say that.
Hope you have a talent or a skill, because.
But what I mean is, like, we don't. They do mention it here and there, but they never really dive deep into what the Federation is, and I think it's because I don't know. Maybe they just don't want to go down that road. But
I mean, almost not until Kelvin timeline, like where Pike explicitly states what it is.
But that's even regarding Starfleet. That's still not regarding like what.
Oh, the Federation.
You know.
It's the United Federation of Planets. It's in its own name.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. I wonder if it's maybe they want to avoid.
Well, or maybe we'll get some of that in Discovery
maybe.
As they kick off like what their mission is. It could definitely be tied to the Federation, and maybe we could finally get some answers.
We demand the truth. No one's going to give me. You can't handle the truth. Okay. So moving on to TNG. Again, I'm going to blast through the entire television series unless you can think of as far as Earth and Federation. And I'm sure we get Federation ambassadors and officials but like it's always ambassadors or negotiators or diplomats. Like there's no like the secretary of whatever, or whatever. I mean, so like the one that really comes out at me is Insurrection when we get the Federation Council being mentioned, because I can't remember. I'm sure it's been mentioned on TNG television series, but I honestly can't think of one instance.
Not often. I can't think of it.
Yeah, but in Insurrection we get like with the decision about Daniel's favorite planet, the Baku, that apparently the Federation Council has said, yeah, sure, go ahead, strip mine that thing, and Captain Picard tells, Riker to get the Enterprise out and go talk to the Council and, give these people a face, which is a very political, way to fight that conflict of like, basically, make a good commercial about it. But then that sort of also frames the Federation Council as being not very good at times.
Which is surprising.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're the ones that pick all the admirals.
Maybe. Who knows how it works? That could explain so much.
Yeah, again, it's just like we don't see them ever, right? It's just spoken about, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the only time we've seen the councils in is in Star Trek 4 and 6.
Yeah. That's crazy, right? It seems like we should see them way more.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, TNG lasted 7 years and now 3 movies, and now we're really only getting them mentioned in passing. You would assume that they would be pretty important in these people's lives and pretty instrumental in the kind of things that they would be doing. You think there would be like,
right.
Just for pulling off the top of my head, like with the whole Borg thing, you think that they would have lots of concerns, maybe, be investigating the Enterprise, see what happened and what was going on and stuff like that, but it's only ever Starfleet.
Putting more resources into Mars.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
There should be a Mars Defense Committee. I mean, at least.
Oh, yeah. I was just trying to think of those guys that were terraformers, but that's on Deep Space Nine, so we can talk about that afterwards.
Okay, well, let's just go. I mean, yeah, because like I said, and this is sort of 24th century, so I guess we can bleed a little bit here together. But Deep Space Nine, well, actually, I mean, let's pause for a second because I've sort of been skipping over aliens. I mean, we get all the Klingon politics you could want, and probably a little bit more than you really wanted in TNG, as far as emperors and you get the you get the 2 candidates for emperor. Or not emperor, excuse me, chancellor. Sorry, I said emperor. Chancellor, the 2 candidates for chancellor. So they have a fierce 2-party system in the Klingon Empire. It's like, don't blame me. I voted for Duras.
Even then, we still have some pretty big questions about how the Klingon society works and if everybody's just angry warriors all the time. So even with all that Klingon drama we get, it's only ever between like 4 people. And so it doesn't seem to be very representative of what's going on.
Yeah, because we get a little bit about the Klingon High Council. They're Star Trek loves its councils. The Klingon High Council, it sounds like you have to be like influential, and I mean, not that that's not uncommon in real world, but it's all about having property and lands and
honor.
Not necessarily that you're that big of a warrior. I don't know. The High Council seems pretty
That's
corrupt at times.
At times,
Well,
like
but
when
what
they're
about
poisoning each other and
the
stuff.
Chancellor?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's Worf introduces a whole new strata to Klingon politics. Good job, Worf.
Yeah, because he interferes. He colludes and interferes in the Klingon election by killing one of the candidates.
That is true.
Yeah, he's really meddlesome,
So,
isn't he?
yes, he's very messy. It's not the
And
first
he's not
time,
even a
by
citizen.
the way.
I mean, I guess maybe by birth he
That's
is.
true.
I don't know, but
Yeah, maybe he has dual citizenship. I don't know. Well, wasn't his brother on the High Council for a second? But I mean, that was more Deep Space Nine time.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because Worf is always in and out of
yeah.
Klingonhood. You
Yeah,
know?
it's like, I am a Klingon. Well, do you want to just like serve your No, I'm Federation over. Yeah, no.
We put your back on you, and no, we're glad you're around. Thanks.
Now
for
you're
helping,
basically Chancellor.
Yeah. And I can't really think of necessarily any.
We do get the Romulan Senate.
I was about to say I was going to mention
Oh,
that. We do
yeah,
get the and the
that's
Praetor.
true.
The Praetor is the leader.
We
of
actually
the
get to
Senate.
see
Or-
the Senate chambers, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
I like that, the design. I mean, for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we actually do in Next Generation. We could if we drill down into it, we see a lot of governments in TNG, but nothing necessarily pops out. And so just Deep Space Nine now. Of course, the obvious selection Deep Space Nine is you go to the two-parter Homeland Paradise Lost, where we get a Federation president again. This one maybe a little bit more memorable.
Softy
Unfortunately.
McSofterson, who's
And if you're talking about Jarish Enyo, yes. Now you guys are a little bit more Deep Space Nine than me. So what do y'all think of how the Federation president
this
reacts to
also
those events?
supports my theory now that Earth has given up ceded control to the Federation, because it doesn't take much for this guy to fold, though. Who was in the room with him at the time? It was angry Admiral guy, yeah,
bad guy,
and
Yeah,
and
beardy.
like, was Cisco in the room at the time? I can't remember.
I feel like it because if I remember that episode correctly, sort of Cisco is almost
He is.
the
Yeah.
Admiral
Yeah.
in the beginning. Like, I agree, we need to be taking matters in, and then the second episode
Institute a
maybe
curfew
this is
and
Yeah.
get
martial
my
law.
Yeah, it's basically martial law.
get
yeah.
my father's blood from him and blah blah blah. Yeah. We don't see anything other than the terrible president who just kind of succumbs to fear pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be terrible. But yeah, I mean that's sort of. I mean, but we don't get any like, oh, the Federation Council voted on martial law. You know what I'm saying? It's, how much power does the executive president have? And
Supreme leader, weak guy.
yeah, because it would seem, and again, I don't pretend to be a expert. I mean, I would whatever's below expert. That's what I am. But usually, most utopians are a little bit more legislative and than executive. It's not the one person in charge with a lot of power. It's usually everyone's in charge and everyone has a voice. So it was kind of interesting in that episode where we do have the president saying, "No, martial law, boom,"
and he's
gavel done.
He's
no
only
debate.
talking to that one admiral guy. There's no internal security.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs National
You would
Security
think that there would be
Council.
like a billion dudes around him that would actually give him some good advice, and nope, just sitting in a room with one guy, and the one guy's like, "No, don't dare, do it." And he's like, "Okay, I'll do it," and that was it. So yeah, you would think that would not be the case.
Yeah, and I guess, my challenges with Deep Space Nine would be around this, but you could say insurrection too, where again, the Federation Council, or in this case, the Federation President, in this so-called utopian federation, don't seem very utopian at all. They seem very scared and very, not corrupt, that's the wrong word, but making some bad choices for bad reasons. Well, maybe for reasons that might seem good, like either eternal youth, saving people's lives, or keeping people safe from the changeling threat. But it's like, ends, means, all that.
It's like they've never been. It's like none of these people have ever been lectured by Captain Picard, because he would know exactly what to say to them to get them to be like, "No, we can't do this. This is terrible."
Did you think Captain Picard should have been on the Federation?
Oh yeah,
Council?
totally.
Yeah, I think he would be good on the Federation Council.
Mm-hmm. Now from Earth.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's true. I think it would be interesting, him representing like some other world, like I don't know, maybe Kronos, or he's often going there.
I like he's the carpetbagger. I'm thinking of American examples would be like Bobby Kennedy or Hillary Clinton. Like moved to New York and like, yeah, we're now a New Yorker. We're gonna run for Senate, and they won. But like Picard just like moves to Kronos. I'm like, yes. Which I know is not in the Federation, so it's a horrible example. Right. But like, yeah, I'm now going to be the council member from Klingon Kronos. Like, you don't seem very.
He always
Klingon,
calls it Klingon Kronos.
So he doesn't really belong.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Voyager, obviously, it's kind of not much to do unless you want to talk about alien governments. I mean, you have the
I was just thinking about that.
The hierarchy.
Oh, man.
I think it's called the hierarchy.
Yeah, the
dumb dinosaurs. And that's really I mean, what would you even call that? It's because it's a dogmatic. It's
yeah.
It's not because it's not like a
theocracy.
What's the word?
Theocracy.
Yeah, it's not quite a theocracy. It's not necessarily religion based, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Of philosophy.
One thing I wanted to mention was the fact that, especially in like Next Gen and DS9, they will sometimes go into the fact of, that the three primary governments all have their kind of shadow ops. So you have like your Section 31 and your Obsidian Order and your Tal Shiar. So, I mean, in a way, we get more of that than the actual upfront running of the government. I mean, we have whole episodes dedicated to that.
How come the Klingons don't have special ops? I mean, I get it, like they're brutes and whatever, but they definitely would. They would.
They would. Yeah.
I agree.
That's
it. They're so good.
You just don't even know.
They just dishonor them, and then they the system does the work
is
for them.
Is that like the Mission Impossible? How the Klingon one starts like if you are caught, you will be dishonored.
Yeah. Your family lands
the
will
High
be
Council
stripped
will
from
disavow.
you. We will pretend as if you were never born.
Worf has actually been a shadow agent this whole time.
Only in the novels.
Also,
that's true. They don't do as much undercover work in other planets because it's kind of hard to disguise a Klingon.
Nah, the Romulans can do it. Hey, if the Cardassians can do it,
okay, Darwin doesn't count.
If the Cardassians can do it, then the Klingons can do it. I'm actually surprised, Philip, that you didn't mention your favorite provincial government.
The Bajorans. God, get their act together already.
It's like, how many years has it been, Bajora? I mean, come on. It's time to have a real government.
Right. And I think I posted about this once and someone gave some real life examples of like, Germany post World War II or something. But I'm just like, you're watching DS9. If you're really watching it, it's like year 1, you get it. Season 2, you're like, eh. Like season 3, like, all right, come on now. I mean, get it together, Bajor.
Because don't they really not have anything in place until like the very end when they want to join the Federation?
No. Okay. So, and this is, a recent DS9 rewatch, but not very recent. And you all are always going to be better than me at DS9. But this is how I understood it. So you had your provisional government, whatever. You had a first minister, but it seemed like it was a very weak first minister until there was that episode where I guess the first minister died or something. And then like Kai Wynn kind of either got voted in or took over or something. Or
she basically
or
absorbed that power into the Kai.
The provisional first minister or whatever.
Plus Kai. So she's got 2 titles on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that was sort of interesting because then it does become it's not necessarily a theocracy, but at that point it does become it when the Pope becomes the prime minister, and then you had Jakar. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah,
it.
government-
He
yeah.
then became first minister.
Yeah.
So.
No, Ambassador Jakar. That's a different.
So, yeah, and I was thinking about this the other day about Bajor as a theocracy, which you could say it's not, but I was thinking about that. Like, what if it is? I mean, does it matter? I mean, that's not a. I think it's always looked as a bad thing, but like if your entire planet, and again, the way Bajor is represented, if your entire planet is of the same religion, then maybe a theocracy works for you, because most places are not like that. There's usually more diversity of beliefs, so it's not good to have a theocracy.
The
look,
Federation would have a problem with it only depending on how they actually dealt with people who believed differently than the majority of people.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, and I think that gets into some interesting, and again, I wish I had some like episodic example, but like a lot of this, we see this in TNG a lot of like people who were exploring Federation membership, and there's oh lordy, I can't think of it, but there's certain planets that will have like two factions. And I think, and I can't remember the episode. I'm sorry. I know it's out there where it's like I think either one of the crew members says it's unusual to have someone come to the Federation with a divided planet.
They usually like them to
usually
be
that's
together.
one of the precepts, or prerequisites is to have a united planet. And so it's interesting, like what are the standards for Federation membership? Because then it's sort of like, hey, you get your council member, from that planet or whatever.
Yeah, I get the feeling that it's pretty strict. Like they're pretty rigid about who they accept and who they don't accept,
I mean, it took Bajor.
Well, that's because Bajor was
5 years?
strategically important.
Well, they said no.
You have to remember that.
Yeah. I mean, Bajor said no the first time. So it took them 5 years for them to get like when did they actually get like you're in? Was it the fifth season or sixth season? And Sisko was like, no. Don't do it!
Like he throws himself across the table and smacks the pen out of their hands.
Space pen.
Yes.
Like, no. Space pen, yeah.
Well,
There is a space pen.
Right. And again, look, in Bajor's case, I get it. They need to get their government together first, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question. Like, did Major Kira ever vote?
I don't know that.
I mean,
I mean, there was definitely talks of elections. I would assume she did. It was never made a point.
Well, because wasn't Bareil up for prime minister or whatever they call it?
No, it was
no. So Bareil is, and I'm just refreshing. So Bareil is religious. He's vetted.
Right.
And he was up for Kai. That's what he was up for.
Up for Kai. That's what I was
Shakar,
thinking of.
her other boyfriend, he was first minister.
Yeah,
But
she
he was
dragged
the
him
general
out.
that they coaxed out.
He was holding on to some outdated piece of farming equipment or something from the government for too long, and then that was that whole episode, right? And then
something like that.
Okay.
But anyway, that we've, like I said, there may not be a lot in here. Maybe we've just touched the beginning of the foundation. So just any closing thoughts on Federation politics or alien politics? Like I said, if you're presenting a utopian future, I'm not saying Star Trek's job is like show us utopian economics and show us utopian government and what that means. Like that's not. I'm not saying they need to do that, but they should have thought about it at least. Had a
Yeah, I agree.
Have something in the Bible.
I hope there's something more in Discovery. I think the problem is, of course, the reason that we don't see a utopian economy or a utopian political system is that we don't know what one would look like. We just have to we just kind of have to see the end goal and assume what it might take to get there. So there's no way that we could be like, well, the economy actually works like this, because there's no way, we have no idea. Obviously, if we knew, we would try to do it. But so, but I would like to see a little more of what the ideals are and what these people kind of believe in for these sort of systems. And maybe Discovery will see it. I don't know. I hope. Well, I guess we'll see.
What about you, Darren?
Yeah, I kind of hope that Discovery does kind of give us a little more. Now, I'm not wanting like Episode 2 Star Wars level bureaucracy and Senate meetings and stuff but I want something. I mean, it would be nice to know a little more about how the Federation is operating, and there's been so many sci-fi that have done it well, so it's like just kind of take your pick and just make it fit and then just stick to it. Like that's all you got to do.
All right. Yeah, and I think, and we didn't really necessarily touch on the JJ versus or Kellen universe all that much, but it's pretty much the same for the course. Mostly just admirals and badmirals, and like even the planetary emergency meeting in Into Darkness is just captains and first officers. Like I feel like someone from the civilian government should be represented.
Yeah.
At these things. A national security,
or somebody
again, those are all American
in the
terms,
civilian government should have also noticed all these resources going to Jupiter. You know what I mean? Like some Federation bean counter should have been like, "Oh, hey, by the way, there are like all these people being shipped over to the other side of Jupiter. What's going on over there?" You know. Anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, I just from someone who enjoys and studies this stuff, like I would appreciate civilian control of, again, Starfleet's not a military, I get it, but still, someone should be in charge of these admirals, other than more admirals. We have all
that's
these.
How you get bad admirals.
Admirals all the way up.
Yeah, so that's all I ask. Just seeing a random president, I want a little bit more. That's all I'm asking. Star Trek, I just want a little bit more. I love space. I love discovery. I love the science. Give me a little bit of politics every now and then, just a little bit. That's all I ask. And some good. Don't make them the bad people. Make them the good people. That's all I'm asking. Well, there I've said too much. Daniel,
or not enough.
When people want to know what you're standing for during your election for Federation Council, where can people read your platform?
They can find me on Twitter at OneUpDan. That is the number 1, not the word.
And Darren, if people want to know where they can vote for their intergalactic representatives, where can they reach you?
They can find me on Twitter under Dr. Sci-Fi, DRSCIFI, or my website, drsci-fi.com.
And if people want to listen to my new podcast series about all the Federation presidents, there have been some really good ones, some really forgettable ones, and some ones that might really shock you. But they can find me on Twitter at NC Public Servant. All right, guys. Well, I think this is a good discussion. And so, what about next week?
Next week, we'll be talking something fun involving stars and or Trek.
Ing through them?
Well, hopefully both, right?
Hopefully both, but I can't make promises.
Well, the only promise we can make is for you to vote for us one more week and listen to us. Until then, I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Daniel Prue.
Stranded here on City Alpha 3.
Come!